Ladies and gents, welcome to the John Harris Podcast, the conversational podcast covering all things unimportant, where almost no topic is off limits and enthusiasm is seriously encouraged. From the sublime to the ridiculous, we've got you covered. Let us know where you're listening from using the hashtag The John Harris Podcast, or follow me on Instagram at The Original John Harris. Let's get going. Let's get weird. Today's guest is my second influencer, obsessed with travel and adventure. I'm excited to learn more about what makes her tick. I'm delighted to welcome recently engaged Carla Knighton.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, can't stop laughing. I said Carla Knighton. You're on social media as Carla Moves, which suggests you're an active person.
Exactly. I know. Almost deliberate.
Almost deliberate. Oh, you're having a pot of tea this morning.
Mm-hmm. Except
Keep calm and play golf. Is that you or is that the fiance?
That is the fiance. That is not my cup. Apparently, I'm not allowed to come play golf because I might be too slow and he might get embarrassed. I might hold people up.
Oh, right. Wow. Punchy. As discussed, we're going to go straight into the Quickie Picky feature. As I always introduce it, a series of nonsensical questions where people might learn a little bit about your personality and what makes you tick. Mm-hmm. There's 9 questions I've got lined up. So,
exciting. Okay.
Quick fire, slow fire, in detail, however you want to do it. So, Question 1, who is your favorite influencer?
Oh, good question. Favorite influencer? I would have to say Grace Beverley. Absolutely obsessed because I think she's really funny, and I love it when people actually just bring a bit of character rather than just, oh, I'm doing this workout or I'm doing that.
I don't know.
Pretty funny. Well, now you've got to go and do your research.
I know.
Figure her out.
Grace Beverley. Yeah, I shall follow her immediately.
You should.
As a healthy and active person, what is your favorite cheat meal?
Chinese, I would have to say. Absolutely love that, because I'm trying to think of what my favorite meal is, like a carbonara, but I can make that healthy. So I've got a good skill of actually making any food that you think unhealthy. You can always make it healthy. So obviously, I'll go Chinese because that one
what would you have?
Haven't mastered yet. Chicken chow mein every time, and I don't like sharing it.
No, I'm very much of the same ilk. Jack Grealish or Ben Foden?
I don't know who they are.
Right. The other day, you shared a lot of information on about how much you were supporting the England football team and how up for the football you were, and they are 2 of their best players. You've been found out on the John Harris podcast.
Do you know what? This sounds really bad, but I would know their face. I'm just so bad with names.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, the question remains unanswered, though. Jack Grealish or Ben Foden?
I'm going to go with Jack. I think that name's more familiar.
I like that you're now on first name terms with him as well.
Yeah, I'll pal Jack.
Would you rather eat the same meals every day forever or give up social media?
Give up social media.
Oh, wow. Because you just couldn't face... I thought about chicken chow mein for dinner every night.
Oh, no, I can't think of anything worse than the same meal every day. Yeah. Oh, my God, no.
Fair enough. If you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
I'd probably change it to Zoe, because that is my favorite name. So why not go and have your favorite name? That seems a pretty decent idea.
Yeah. What's the best place you've ever visited?
I love traveling. I do a lot of traveling, and I think there's some incredible places out in Asia, and there's and all of that. But to me, I wouldn't want to live there, or So a really favorite place for me, I would say, probably has to be Croatia, both because it's an incredible place, but I could also see myself living there. So it's kind of best of both worlds.
Fair enough. What food makes you feel physically repulsed?
Things like oysters or anything raw and slimy and things
that look like sick before you eat them.
Yeah, just that type of seafood is not a fan.
What 3 celebrities, dead or alive, would you like to have dinner with?
I would like to have dinner. Usain Bolt. I think he'd
Yeah.
be hilarious. He'd be great crack, wouldn't he? That'd be good fun.
Yeah.
David Beckham. I'd just stare at him the whole time.
Yes.
Just be like,
I was
wondering, are you real?
Wondering what the reasons were for that. Yeah.
No, and he's a great footballer. And I'd probably have to say somebody like Kylie Jenner or something like that, just because they're so. It's just bizarre. Like the Kardashians are insane, and I just want to see if they're actually real and they look like that.
Did you see? I'm just going to bring it up on my screen here quickly. The Usain Bolt's had some new children.
No.
They had a couple of twins the other day, and his kids are called Olympia Lightning Bolt, Saint Leo Bolt, and Thunderbolt. That's
incredible.
The actual names of his children.
I have so much time for that.
Yeah, it's hi, I'm Thunderbolt and I'm Olympia Lightning Bolt. I feel a bit sorry for Saint Leo Bolt because
did you just get left behind? Like that doesn't have much of a
that's
ring.
definitely the least favorite child.
Yeah, Orcs, he's definitely got favorites.
And the last question of Quickie Piggy. The first one was who's your favorite influencer. The last question is who's the worst person or the most infuriating person on social media?
Who's infuriating on social media? I think there's a couple people that everyone I speak to seems to find really funny, and I just can't. It's like, oh, what's Louise from Made in Chelsea? Her brother is trying to be really, really funny. I forgot his name. Sam, yeah, and I've just never found him funny. I find him infuriating. I think it's definitely like if someone's trying to be funny and they're not, and I'm like, just stop trying so hard.
Oh, that's really awkward because that's what I'm going to spend my next 10 years of my life trying to be.
No, I think you're funny. I think you're like, you just about go over it.
Oh, so you hate Sam Thompson more than me? That's fantastic news. So that is the end of Quickie Picky. Couple of good points. Mostly enjoyed the fact that you a big time England fan on social media and don't know Jack Grealish and Ben Foden. Big news.
No, this is so annoying. I'm gonna honestly, I play football all my life. My partner is a huge football fan. He's gonna listen to this and kill me because I bet you I'll walk in, see their faces, and kick myself.
That's always the way. The second we finish, you'll know who they are. You talk about your partner recently engaged in the wonderful city of Edinburgh. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, doesn't feel any different, to be fair.
Have you set a date yet?
No, because with COVID and everything. Oh my God, don't use that word. Literally, I think everyone's pushed it to next year, and one of our friends is like, maybe Australia, or I don't think they're going to open up their borders forever. And then one in America as well, and all that kind of stuff. So maybe 2 years, but not really in a rush.
Fair enough. So you are an active, healthy person on social media. Are you an influencer or a micro influencer officially?
Oh, I think I get to be a little micro influencer.
So what's that? So is it full time? Is
under 10,000?
Under 10,000. Okay. Oh, well, you're nearly past that, I believe.
Getting there, I guess.
I think I'm nearly at 800.
Amazing.
So what is the point? So for people listening who aren't social media-ites, what is it that influencers do? And for you specifically, tell us about what your Instagram page and what it means and everything.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of social media, as long as you kind of view it in the right light. And I absolutely love that so many people, especially over lockdown, have done fitness pages and all of that good stuff, because actually when you look at people's habits and buying habits, and you are most influenced by the people you spend the most time, or maybe the people you watch on social media the most. So actually, when you look at what everyone has social media, everyone is putting something into the world and influencing in like some way. Most people just don't know they're doing it, but we still are. And especially for younger generations and the rise of this whole light that they see social media and watch people's lives. I just wanted to be somebody that put stuff out there that was good and that could help somebody, and that would actually, and is a very realistic version of me. I am that like crazy and that bubbly. Like I am like that. And if I'm not feeling like that, I will also still share that. But running and sport has always been such a big part of my life, and especially like strength training for runners and all that stuff. And I think I just wanted to share more because I wasn't seeing enough of what I would relate to. Everyone's so different, and you can relate to so many different things. But I just wanted to make sure that I was sharing my journey as well, because it can help other people.
So how long have you been sharing it?
So it's actually not like too long. I think I started last year, around this time last year,
right?
Transforming my Instagram into a running Instagram, because I think I've taken running more seriously since I did London Marathon in 2018. So
right, okay.
I think I did that then, and then I started running more properly. So I played football up till then and just did running on the side, and then I left my football team in 2018, and then it just got more and more and more and more. So it was kind of a natural next step because I was doing it so much and I was getting so many questions on running. I was like, I'm just going to share it more.
Mm-hmm. And are you more, I mean, I guess you can marry them both, but are you more interested in the influencing and that side of things, or the competitive running, or are you trying to do both and influence through your sort of competition?
So times and different challenges I do mean a lot to me. I do care about that. I'm probably never going to be like a really competitive person on some other levels, but I'm definitely competitive myself, and I definitely go 4 times and really run hard to do that and train hard to do that as well. That's not easy. I don't think for anyone, so I definitely do that. The influencing bits and pieces, there will definitely be some more stuff that I'm going to put out there later on in the year that's coming down the pipeline. But yeah,
which you can't tell us about, I'd imagine. Is that right?
It's all coming very soon. But I did like before the gyms open, I did like a 30-day challenge, to the gyms opening, and so many people, got involved, and that was really, really fun. And I love doing. So I guess influencing in a way where it's like, oh yeah, this is helpful, or this is a good workout, but actually I like the connection that it has brought, and I've had great conversations with people I would never have met. So I guess it's influencing, but more just that connection as well. Like I love it when people just message like, hey, how you doing, great to chat, like, and just ask questions
like, hi, will you please come on my podcast, will you please come on my podcast, please will you come on my podcast.
God, yeah, they're the worst.
Fair enough. But you're still here. The nice thing about social media, obviously I've followed you for a little while and we have sort of some mutual friends and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you do is, like you said, positive and smiley and happy. I'm really interested to know, have you had the darker side of it? Have you been exposed to any of that? Have you had any haters? Have you had any people that have just gone at you for no reason or anything?
No, I'm so lucky I haven't had that, but I'm going to caveat with that. I haven't had that yet. I think everyone gets that at some point. I've just had some like really weird ones.
Go on.
It's just bizarre. It's like I've put a running video up, or I've put like a running whatever up, and then people will be like, why are you running in clothes? Like, why do you think? And it's just like, that's the most weirdest question I've ever heard.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just okay. But I will happily just, like, the second I get any weird comments, I just delete them.
Okay.
Yeah, like if I'm, you get things like, what are you looking at? Like in a running video, someone will say, what are you looking at? I've had someone say, like, can you smell, like, what are you smelling? So, like, this is so weird.
Oh, wow. They're the people that want to buy your used running clothes online. Those
that kind of stuff, right? A lot of money in that. Not an avenue I'm going to go down yet, but
yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
No, it's it's some very so I think more weird at the moment, but if I do see anything like that, if it is ever mean, I just literally just delete. Like, it doesn't make any difference to me. I'm just like,
it's. I mean, if this ever kicks off, part of me would love a hater because I would just love to bite and engage with them on social media.
I absolutely can imagine that, but I think it would just, part of it is pretty funny. Like, you've just got to see the humorous side sometimes.
You got I find most people most haters on Instagram and social media and stuff are generally born out of jealousy, I think. And it's funny, half the people that most often I find are being rude and stuff. And I've had my fair share of of things that I've said that I probably regret in time until I realized. And we've all said things that were hurtful and at the time you didn't think they were. But most of it, I think, is born out of jealousy. And if you look through people's if you had the time to go back through people's back catalogue, you'd probably find that they were actually all right and they just wanted to be a bit more like that person. Do let me know if you have any haters though, because I'll happily respond to them on you. Yeah, send them my way.
Okay, if I get any, especially the weird ones, I feel like you could come back with some great stuff. I'll just tag you in it next time.
Fine, done.
Just throw it, just watch it.
I'm in. Watch the social grenade.
Yeah.
So what's the dream with your page? So Carla Moves, obviously running, fitness, health. It's obviously going really well if you've been doing it just over a year. It's obviously going really well so far. What's the long term? Have you got a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, I just want to support more people and actually I think I just wish there was more of this when I'd started running, when I think back, and actually, when you first start training and, I probably ran in trainers that were so old and so bad for my knees, and I didn't understand the kit. I didn't understand any of it. Whereas it's such an easy and accessible way. And also I found myself buying more local from people and loads of other stuff. So I think for me, it's made buying habits, and it's made just how I live my life, how I access information much quicker, much easier, and all of that really amazing. So I'll keep doing that. I'm one for organization, so I'll probably I think you always have different key pillars of what you're actually putting out there. I'd want to be a bit more educational and a bit more actually when somebody comes onto the page, they can actually go and take nuggets of information away and do more. So yes, it's running and it's sharing my journey, but I've found so far that if I share how I'm organizing meal prep and all other things like that, that always does quite well as well. So I'd probably do a bit more of that, and 10
million followers, of course. Have you had any sponsorship deals or anything, and people reach out to you?
I think the thing, not like loads of them. I've done bits and pieces, like I've done paid sponsorships, and I've done paid for them, and a lot of my running kit and bits and pieces is gifted, which is lovely. And I think people look at people's social media and say, oh, they've gifted this and they've got paid clouds of this and all of that, and people will look at it and just think, oh, that's that's so amazing and everything, and it really is. But I think people will remember that this is all a business at the end of the day. So when you get things like, you have a lot of, you have to do stuff for that. People are not just given stuff for free. That's not how that works. So I think because I'm in the mix of, so I'm moving jobs, I'm moving house, I just got engaged, all this stuff. So I think for me, it's quite a busy period of my life. And I think people just have to realize, what can I give to this if you're doing it on the side? So I've said to a few people, recently, yes, but I honestly don't know if I could do your brand justice. And there's also things where I don't think I was the right fit for a brand. And I think it's really, really important to do both. It's really important to take on what you think is good for you and good for people that follow you. versus just taking everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think if this ever kicked off, I'd be like Joey from Friends and say yes to everything and end up wearing a million different things. But because I'm new to this world and speaking to people like yourself and understanding where it all comes from and what it all is like, it's funky because you're right. Nobody just gives you a running top and says, there you go. There's I'd imagine there's associated contractual obligations and that sort of thing.
Always.
What jobs are you moving from and to?
An account manager role. So in my full-time job, I work in so this company does like AI, machine learning, and loads of algorithms and software. And so we'll be looking after the clients for that to help. I'm a big geek on stuff like that as well. It's crazy. It's insane. You look at some people's Instagrams and you have absolutely no idea what they do. And some people do some really fascinating jobs.
Yeah, I love that. It's not the dark side, but the sort of the fitness and people. This is absolutely right. People often associate fitness, and I've been guilty of it with almost like simplicity, a little bit like, oh, they just go running, but before meeting Hannah off of Twice the Health, because I'm good friends with her boyfriend, and now good friends with Hannah. I thought influencing was, I'll be honest, a load of shit. And I thought it's just people, again, just posting pictures, getting free stuff because they've got a load of followers.
Yeah.
Turns out the amount of work I ran the other day with Hannah and Carla Molinaro.
Yeah.
The amount of work they put in constantly, because once people are hooked, you've got to keep them hooked. They work, and you guys work so hard on content creation, the quality of your posts, what you're talking about, like you're saying things about meal prep. It's not just going for a run, because once people are bought in, you got to keep them there. And I have been like pleasantly astounded of how hard they work, because originally I thought influencing was one of those things that I thought will come and go. Oh, it's a fad, it's a whatever. But social media is obviously here to stay.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you guys work bloody hard. So fair play to you. I'm a convert of opinion. So I no longer think it's a load of bullshit.
Yeah, like I think it's crazy. You just think you just post and that's it, that's done. But there's actually so much organization, and if anyone wants to grow and wants to like do it, honestly, I never thought I'd become the person where, because you always need so much content, you always, whether it's every, you're either posting every day or every couple of days. So, we'll go and do things like content shoots and just get so many photos all in one day. And it's the easiest way to do it. So you bulk get all the content in one day, you can edit it all in one day, and then you can schedule it. So you can always schedule stuff or whatever. But then the thing is, like, all the different algorithms and stuff change all the time. So, 1 minute it was, liking things. Now it's commenting on things. Like, it just changes all the time. But you have to be really, really active. So, I think in some days, like, you go through and you might like 600, 700 photos in a day, because that's how engagement goes up. And when I looked at and did some analysis of how people were actually growing, it was always the people that liked pretty much every single photo that I'd put up, and you could tell like that's what people were doing. So that's the bit that's not very glamorous, and people don't see that actually you're scrolling and you're liking, and like sometimes my partner will be like, "You doing your likes?" It really is.
It's like Tinder on drugs.
It really is scary. You have to like so much, and with the brand stuff, like, I always feel so much pressure when it's not just my post. It's way more pressure if you've got to post for a brand as well. So
how do you find out those algorithms? From a completely selfish point of view, how do you find out whether it's likes or comments or what the thing is? Because I know that Instagram rewards you for using all of its features for things like reels, and photos and stories and etc.
Yeah.
But where
And
do you
Instagram
find out
Live
what they're...
especially.
Oh, really? So where do you find out that information? Or is that a learning
Just
on the job sort of
research.
thing?
So
Right.
the one thing I'm going to focus on as soon as I've moved house and it's all done is, like, I have a YouTube page as well, and
Right.
I really want to do a bit more on my YouTube and actually do weekly videos on that.
Is that
I
Carla
really,
Moves as well?
really enjoying that. Yeah, and I really love doing that. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I've learned loads. I think it's a really, really easy, bite-sized way to learn. I personally am a visual learner, so videos are really, really handy. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos on it, because the algorithms change so quickly. They'll always say like the month that the video was posted and what's worked for that person that month. And really, I think I base my whole life like this. You know, at the end of the day, don't make life difficult for yourself. If someone's gone and done it, just take advice from somebody that's done it, and that will save you a lot of time and effort. So
fair enough.
Anyone that has already done it, like, I'll watch what they do, which is where they've got a lot of ideas from.
Yeah. It really is full on. You can probably hear my dog barking in the background.
Oh.
So yeah, that was great. It's really interesting because I think,
yeah,
like I said, I'm complete convert of opinion. It's not just take a nice picture, put it online, and then you get a load of followers.
it's going to get bigger.
Yeah, and more complex and everything. We're going to go into the Legend and Loser of the Week feature now. Would you like to go first or second?
Oh, I'll go first. Why not?
You go first. Who's your legend?
I would say Sha'Carri Richardson. I feel like you can't not say her. She's just become the fastest female for 100-meter sprint in the US. And the first thing she did was run and hugged her grandma. I don't know if you saw it. It was so nice.
Is this the lady with the bright orange hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bonkers.
Literally, like, long nails, hair, you know, she's been told so many times, you know, like, oh no, sprinters don't look like that. You can't wear nails like that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And she's always just gone, I'm basically going to do what the hell I want. And now she can prove it even more. But the first thing she did was like, my grandma's my inspiration. She just ran straight up into the crowd and just gave a big hug. And it was just like, I just have so much time for people that just do things their own way. And it's rewarding.
I bet in that moment she's won a lot of fans as well by showing a personal side to it.
Yeah.
Good legend. Good legend. Now let's get juicy. Who's the loser of the week?
Oh, so this is really funny because this is football related, and I laughed more than I should have about this, and I feel really mean. But you know the Slovakia keeper, Dubravka? Did you see when the ball came in? And he So basically, for anyone that didn't see it, a really high ball came in, and he went to clear it, which is a very textbook move. Like, it's a pretty easy thing to do. You just tap it over your own bar. I tapped it into his own goal.
Poor bloke.
That's bad.
And this is the thing where the internet, what's that phrase? The internet remains undefeated. He becomes a meme immediately.
Oh my God, yeah.
Much like the Scotland goalkeeper the other day when the ball was lobbed over his head, and within 20 minutes, there's hundreds of things online. It's totally savage.
I think it's bad for keepers.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of my favorite things about the internet is just people just taking the mick out of silly and funny things. And you have to laugh because if you didn't, you'd cry. My legend of the week is Justin Timberlake, because he's finally come out in support of Britney in the hashtag Free Britney court case. The conservatorship, I think it's called, that her father and all that. But he's finally come out and said that she shouldn't be shackled financially or emotionally by her father, which I think is good. My loser of the week is the International Olympic Committee, the IOC. Bit of a hot topic for allowing Laurel Hubbard to compete in the women's weightlifting. Meaning, and I've written this down, poor old Juanini Manumua, which is an ironic name for the women's weightlifting. Juanini Manumua misses out because somebody who's born a biological man is now competing. So the loser of the week in my mind is the IOC, because
that's a good one.
My opinion is it's disgraceful. people should be whatever you want and whatever body you're comfortable in, that's fine. And if you want to have a transgender Olympics or competition or thing entirely, then that's fine. But, and I know they're doing testosterone tests, but all of the training's been done. And it seems quite telling that Laurel Hubbard, I don't know what his name was when he was a man, was nowhere to be seen on the world stage. Becomes a woman biologically, again, absolutely fine. And is now breaking world records left, right, and centre. And it doesn't sit well with me, or I don't feel it's in the right way for the Olympics to go, because I don't know. Where do you sit on it all?
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you. I mean, it's scientific, isn't it? Like, it's biological. Like, you can't argue with that.
No.
And I think sometimes you just have to, if you were to take all emotion out of it and to take everything, you know, if you were to, let's say, these people competed, you know, whatever, you just based it on their biological figures and legit, like, just looked at the science of their bodies and what they were doing, and you didn't look at gender, you didn't even like know who they were, see them, anything, you'd hands down be like, well, that person's so much stronger biologically. How am I comparing these two people?
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah. If you're born with a penis, then you should compete, man. And like I said, people can be whatever they want, but when it comes to international competition and the spirit of sport and everything, it's just madness. And man, I don't know. Just like I said just now, no records, nowhere in the world rankings at all. Second you enter the women's competition, you're smashing world records and breaking records and beating everybody. I just think it's totally bonkers. So
yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Piers Morgan's a fairly polarizing character, but he wrote an article on this the other day, and I agreed with all of it. Which, you know, I mean, to be fair, I actually quite like Piers Morgan, but yeah. So that's my stance. That's my loser, legend and loser of the week.
Yeah, they're good.
One thing I wanted to talk about was side hustles I've written down. Because again, I mentioned earlier Hannah and stuff. You are involved with the We Are Runners guys, is that right? Tell us about that.
I am their pacer for London Bridge. So I do that every Wednesday. We go off, we lead new groups, we pick new routes. It's really, really good fun. So we tend to, at We Are Runners, it's very inclusive. So you tend to get a lot of people that maybe hadn't run before, or, you know, find it hard to actually get themselves up and go for a run. So it's really quite nice. So we do nice little social runs on Wednesdays.
Great. Get people active. And that was one of the best things about the very start of lockdown, I found, actually, is when you were allowed to go outside for your hour a day or whatever it was, when we were in the central prison. Loads of people, now not to stereotype, but loads of people who I met who looked like they possibly hadn't done much activity before were buying trainers, getting out and doing. It's definitely diminished, but, you know, hopefully some of those people have stayed active and got healthier and stuff, because that was when we were only allowed out for an hour a day or to the supermarket. The only thing you can do is exercise, walk the dog, go for a power walk, try and do a couch 5K virtual program or whatever. So I actually thought that was one of the best things that came out of lockdown. The other thing I wanted to completely change, talk to you about, was obsessed with adventure and traveling and stuff. Tell us about some of the cool things you've experienced, or some of the things you want to experience in future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of, like, so I just think when people push themselves, you know, when you're outside your comfort zone, when you push yourself, when you do something different, that, you know, that's literally, for me, where life, you know, that's what life's about. And I think it builds resilience. I think it builds confidence. And I think just more, I just think more people could do with actually just taking that approach, because it feeds into so many other aspects of life. You know, there's not a single person in the world that couldn't be better off with a little bit more confidence here or there, or a little bit more sense of resilience. Like, all these skills that both running and adventure sport will teach you will benefit your entire life. It always will. And I think for me, I want to see every single country.
Oh, wow.
Well, the ones that I can. because there's some that I can't go to because I work in the defence sector.
Oh, wow, right, punchy.
So yeah, I'm a reserve as well, so I'm in the RAF.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you. Cool.
Yeah. So the ones that I can go to, I will go to. And I think for me, I've never felt anything more liberating than when you are traveling and when you're in a new country and you're trying something new and you're doing something that you wouldn't. There's just a sense of disconnection from normal life, the appreciation that brings, everything. I just can't. Absolutely a huge travel fan, and if anyone has ever thought to travel, I wouldn't even think twice. I would just go and book a ticket. That's how I started traveling. I remember just walking out of a job that I had just left, and I just walked into a travel company and just said, right, where I want to go somewhere next week, and I ended up in Asia for 6 weeks. And that's just
cool. Did you do a gap year?
No, I didn't do a gap year.
No, I didn't. It's one of my biggest regrets, actually. I wish I'd gone away and seen a few places. So hang on, that was really interesting. So you're a reserve for the RAF. Have you been anywhere? Yeah. Have you been deployed? Is that the right word?
That is the right word. No, I actually have mobilised though, where I went full time. Day we went into lockdown.
Oh wow!
Bizarre. So I spent 3 months of the initial lockdown, like on a base, which was very bizarre. Much quieter. So yeah, so it's interesting. I do a lot of different bits and pieces, but I just like variety. So yeah, no, it's good fun.
Where's the best place you've ever been, travel wise, apart from Croatia? I know we touched on that earlier. So the single most bonkers, like mind blowingly funky place.
I'd say Cambodia. Yeah, I think
yes.
Cambodia is very just not spoken about enough, I guess. Like they've got a rich history and they've gone through a lot as a country. And I found that very interesting. And it was also the first country where we either bribed our way in or like bribed our way, you know what it's like, or something, something dodgy. And it was quite scary. It was quite, okay, I think if something goes down right now, I don't think I'm going to have the support of like the authorities or anything. So it was very like, let's try and do things by the book here, and let's try and be, on our best behavior and stick to certain places. I've never had to really think like that before, so that was interesting.
Yeah, good. I've really, really enjoyed this, but there is one more feature that I often spring on people at the end, because most of the guests who come on probably don't even listen to the podcast. Which is so rude, but hopefully after this you'll be a convert. There's a refer a friend feature, where I ask each guest to refer a friend from, it can be from fitness, health, any walk of life. If they're a A-list celebrity, that'd be great. Who they think will come on the podcast, if you think they'll be interesting. If they do end up recording an episode, then I shall donate to a charity of your choice when that episode goes live. So who is your refer a friend? Why are you referring them? And do you think they'll come on the John Harris podcast?
Oh, I like this. So I basically get to stitch people up, right?
Yes.
Who do you look for when you want people on the podcast?
Anybody from any walk of life. I mean, because my circle and therefore extended circle is a lot of like running people, we've had quite a lot of active or sport, should I say, sport people on. But the John Harris podcast is not discriminatory over people of any interest. So anybody you'll find interesting, like I said, if they've got 500,000 followers and a blue tick, that'd be great. But anybody who you think would be interesting to come on the podcast.
Anyone that would be interesting to come on the podcast. Okay. I would say you need to get George on. She's Fitcetera.
George what?
She's called Fitcetera on Instagram.
Fitcetera. Yeah.
I'll forward you her. And I think she should absolutely go on because I've spoke to her before and she's really interesting, and she does triathlons, so slightly different from maybe if you have a lot of runners on. So it's slightly different, and I just absolutely always resonate with everything she shares. I think one of the best things she shared was, everyone does these like what you eat in a day.
Oh yeah.
She did it, but she just did it with like an empty bowl, basically being like, what I eat in a day doesn't make any difference to you.
Oh yeah, good.
And it's not going to help you. So just did the whole one of those, what I eat in a day, but was eating nothing. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And it's just really honest and just really just different, and manages it all as well. So she's also I've also done some consulting. She also works in IT, that again balances it all. Just a very interesting person.
Super. Well, put me in touch if you can. And
I will.
like
I'll
I said,
make her come on.
Done. And if she does, let me know, a charity of your choice. Just send me a message and I shall donate. Thank you for joining. I've really, really enjoyed it. I'll get out in the next couple of days. So yeah, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. I hope the Instagram keeps going well. And obviously, and if you do get deployed anywhere, take it with you. You'll get some good high quality viral videos if you have to go anywhere. But no, stay safe. And thank you for joining the John Harris podcast. That was Carla Knighton on Instagram and YouTube at Carla Moves.
Thank you for having me.